Hey guys. Let's see, this doesn't seem to be working. Oh, there it goes. How are you guys doing? You checked out Invictus yet? I'm just loading in for the first time here. Was checking out the site earlier. Let me see. Not too much today. I was surprised there's no like Warbond CCU on the Scorpius, but there's a Warbond CCU on the Polaris, which is no longer limited. So yeah, if you want a Polaris, it's a lot less of a headache to get now, and it's a pretty good deal right now. The Phoenix was available for a surprisingly long time. I think that is still limited, but I saw it like an hour ago, which was, I don't know, like 2 hours after the event started, so I guess that kind of makes sense because it's not a super great value. Yeah, but the Scorpius I don't think is much of a great value either. I'm a bit disappointed. It seems more like a Hurricane competitor than the Warden. Oh, hi. Hi from Hong Kong. I can't imagine. What time is it there right now? Probably pretty late. Uh, but yeah, the Scorpius seems like a Hurricane competitor, and the Hurricane is like 1.2 million credits in game, which is like, that's like barely any more than a Gladius, which is like half the real life money. So, as cool as this looks, I don't think it's great to buy for real money. Origin, there's like 2 ships available, and the G12, which I'm not a fan of the G12, but you know. The 325A is a fun ship, but also just buy it in game. 1 ship available from Consolidated Outland, and should be just 2 from Argo. Oh, we get the SRV. That could be pretty interesting at some point, but I don't expect it to be super expensive in game. Like at half the price of the mole. 253, yeah. Alright, well, I should be loaded in by now. Or not. This game seems to load a lot slower when I alt tab, so I should just leave it like this for a second. Ugh. There are those fireworks. I hope that's just I logged in at the right time and they're not still going off constantly. Well, it is daytime, so that's pretty cool. Oh yeah, the bounties seem to be, I don't know, some interesting stuff's going on with them. Like, all my certifications got reset, but the reputation still stayed the same, so it seems like they're still having a few issues getting that stuff all working well. Is the Scorpius straight to flyable? Yeah, it's in the pipeline. I believe it's on the roadmap for early next year. I can check when we're waiting on the train ride. I'll show that. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it's like on the roadmap, not just the progress tracker. Yeah, don't get me wrong, it's a really cool looking ship, but it's definitely more of a Hurricane competitor looking at it now. Also, looking at some of the specs, it's a little bit funny. It's like got two small shields, which is definitely way less than it's gonna need. The Hurricane even has 3, and I think it's slightly smaller. But yeah, on the roadmap. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, it's listed as tentative, but I'd assume they can get it in. It's a pretty small ship. Fireworks show equals 20 FPS. Hopefully not.
Nearing next stop.
It sounds like they're still going on though. Man, that's a little annoying. Yeah, you guys excited for the leather jacket that we all get to keep? It's kind of cool. I don't know if you have to buy it in game to actually keep it. It seemed like you'd just get it from visiting here, but I'm probably gonna buy one just to make sure. All the inventory stuff seems a little bit messed up right now, though. Like, I constantly load into game and my armor will just be missing. So it's a little annoying. Because I had bought one of these earlier and it's already gone. Oh look, someone's already got theirs on. Interesting, elevator's just not gonna load in. And the helmet flashlight bug seems to be back. Are these new elevators? This looks new. Interesting. Wait, I think that was the guy who's just over there. Yeah, for a hotfix that was supposed to fix stuff, this seemed to break a lot of stuff as well. People were having landing gear issues yesterday. I know I was, and just not everything working as it's intended. Alright, I'm gonna skip this dude. I don't think any of you are too worried about that. He does seem to be a little misaligned though. That's unfortunate. Alright, we've got all the constellations in here today. Let's see. A lot of stuff in the holo viewer though. Wow, they've got like basically everything. But yeah, as for actual ships, there's not all that much. What actually is added to the game in Invictus? Well, you can rent all of these ships here, but I mean, it's mainly just the sale on the website. But yeah, if you haven't gotten a chance to like fly a Phoenix or something, or a Mantis, you can go up to all of these and rent them for free. And yeah, they did confirm with the FAQ that the last few days will have all of the ships available again. So, kind of like the end of what was it? The Intergalactic Aerospace Expo. I always forget what it's called. But then also there's the Javelin tours and the Bengal flyby, and you can go up to the orbital stations and you'll be able to see those. So that is new stuff, and that's different from last year. That's probably why it's so laggy, or part of why it's so laggy. And today is one of the less exciting days in terms of what you can rent, but on the other days there's some pretty cool ships you can try out if you haven't ever flown some of the bigger ships. So like the Carrack will be here on Anvil's Day, I think in 6 days or so, something like that. And in a couple of days, Aegis will be here with all of their stuff and the Hammerhead. Just waiting for the Merchantman. I think everyone is. I can't wait for the Merchantman either, but I mean, it does seem to be moving along, and Alien Week is just right after this, so we might get some stuff on it then. Because they should be finishing up their reconcepting on it pretty soon. And it looks like they have the F8 locked down quite a lot this year. People managed to steal those last year, so they don't want that happening again, probably. What is this? Interesting. That helmet seems to be having some issues. I haven't flown the 100 series in a little while, so probably should have. It looks like someone had an accident here. don't know what that was all about, but I know there were some issues with these when they came out in terms of flight performance. Like they were very sluggish on some axes, but hopefully that's fixed now. Because I do like the 325A, so the 100 series is probably decent as well. Did you guys watch Star Citizen Live? There wasn't all that much new stuff on there, but I did like to hear some of the stuff about physicalized damage. It sounds like it's going to be interesting. It'll add a lot of gameplay. And it's good to hear that the Polaris is going to have that pretty sizable hangar. Like the standard extra small, I think is what he called it. But yeah, that means it's going to fit something like the Scorpius. So I think that's where the Scorpius is actually going to be pretty useful, because compared to just bringing along a normal fighter in that hangar, you'd have a lot more firepower with a Scorpius. But as of right now, where you don't really have to bring your fighters along in a carrier of some sort, there's not much reason to not just fly two different fighters. Alright, I'm going to check out the holo viewers, and then I think that's about all for here. I am a bit surprised that they came out with the Scorpius so early. Normally they like to leave stuff till a bit later, but I guess they came out with the G12 pretty early last year too. I've heard stuff that there's going to be another concept ship, but I don't know, that one seems less likely. Here's the Ursa. Nice little vehicle. Interesting. They do always have some great attention to detail. Alright, but let's check out these holos. There should be a lot. Let's see which side this is. Alright, starting off with the G12, everyone's favorite. Oh yeah, they did add some new commodities, so it wasn't just the price alerts. They've added some more expensive commodities, which I was very happy to see. So like there's this new audio-visual equipment stuff, and I'm gonna have to check it out with like smaller ships, but it's so expensive that trading in something with even like 100 SCU, like the Star Runner, might be pretty profitable, because I think it's like on the order of 12 million credits to fill up like a Caterpillar or something. So with a 20% margin or something, so even with 100 SCU, you can still make a lot of profit per run. With the way 30Ks are on this patch, I don't know if you should be trying to fill up a Caterpillar, but it's nice that they're adding in options for that. Alright, so this looks like the same Polaris model. Do you recommend the Carrack or the M2 as an all-around ship? The Carrack is definitely a more versatile ship, and it's got similar cargo. Yeah, so I'd probably go with the Carrack. It is a bit more expensive, but you've just got so much more utility with the med bay and the drones. This is supposedly the Taurus, but it looks like they've done the same thing where they used an old model of the Aquila, which is what they did last year. I mean, it's like a slightly modified version of the Aquila, because you can see it doesn't have the snub. But as far as I'm aware, yeah, they just removed the snub in it, because the cargo bay on the Taurus, I think, is supposed to extend all the way to the rear. And yeah, as far as I know, the Taurus is going to have the more standard angular canopy, not this one that's for the exploration one on the Aquila. Although, they can change all of them, and I'd be happy. Make them all like the Mantis. We are supposedly getting the Taurus pretty soon, though, so I'm pretty excited for that. I'm definitely going to be checking that out. And yeah, that would be another ship that would be pretty profitable with that audio-visual equipment. I'm not sure. I think they added a few more things, but that was just the notable one to me. And then here's the Perseus again. I'm not sure if this has been changed at all, but looks pretty similar. Those massive size 7s on those turrets. This is going to be a pretty fun ship. It'll give people actually a good reason to multi-crew a ship, because you're going to have a hard time finding another ship with the firepower of one of these turrets to fly by yourself. And here it is. The Scorpius. Oops. Yeah, looking at this thing from the front initially, the timeline on the Ares, I watched Star Citizen Live, and what's his name? I always forget his name. I think it's John Crew. He said that ship's going to be out by the end of the year, so I think it's on the roadmap for that date as well, but it seems like we're going to be seeing it pretty soon. But yeah, looking at the ship from the front, I thought it was thought it looked more like an anvil ship at first, but I don't know, definitely with the wings and how they fold back to make it look like an Aurora, I can see the RSI in it more. But yeah, with that like pointy front and everything, kind of reminded me of anvil, but I don't know. And yeah, I think I'm going to be making a video on this later, so I bought a Hurricane in-game to try that out, just to give it a fair shot, because this is very similar to the Hurricane. I think it gives a little bit more firepower to the pilot, but the turret is the same amount of weaponry. It's just probably a little bit worse in terms of its firing arcs, except for that fact where it can flip over to backwards. So, I mean, it could be balanced out and be about the same or even a little bit better. But yeah, some of its stats are definitely going to need to change, like those 2 size 1 shields, unless it's really fast. Like, unless they make it as fast as a light fighter. Because it's a pretty big ship, I think. Alright, I don't know what to do now. We can go check out the Javelin tours and see if those have changed at all. And then I do want to try out the Hurricane.
Invictus will mark the graduation of the latest class of starmen and pilots entering service into the Union's Navy. Signifies the date that new recruits all over the Empire report to start their service.
I swear these elevators are new, though. I don't know why they'd switch them up, but... No, this is a live... this went live at noon EST, but I think that's 3 hours ago, so whatever that is your time. So yeah, if you want to check it out yourself, you can just log into the game and it should be there. And I believe they did a database reset with the most recent patch, so you should be able to just choose New Babbage. You won't even have to fly over there. Love these tram timers. Not as exciting as the previous Expo. I think it's a little bit better overall. I mean, it's a little bit less exciting in the sense that most of the Expo stuff is kind of the same, but they've got this stuff, the Bengal flybys and the Javelin tours, which is pretty cool. And there's new ships, like the Scorpius I think is a much better concept than the G12. And they've also got the thing at the end of this year where you can try out all the ships from the previous days, which I do not remember them having last year. So you've got a better chance of being able to try out everything. And I think something that might be exciting for a lot of people is the Polaris is no longer limited. And they've got a they've actually got a war bond upgrade going on that now. So if you've missed the Polaris, because I remember at the Aerospace Expo late last year, it was a pain trying to get that because their like site went down and everything. So yeah, it's no longer limited even, so you can just grab one if you want it. You have the unexpectedly stopped bug. That's a pain. I hope you manage to get that fixed, but yeah, sometimes this game is a little difficult. Early this year in January, there was like one whole PTU cycle that I missed out on just because no matter how many times I reinstalled, it would not work. Yeah, so one thing I wanted to try is if I could... I don't think the gray cat buggy fits in elevators, but it would be fun to try. I'm sure someone's already tried it. Oh, I don't think the elevators are different. They just forgot to put this wall on here. So I think we're just seeing the texture like behind it. I can't really clip into it, unfortunately. Yeah, no, it's not gonna let me. It does seem like they've just left those fireworks going constantly, which I was not a fan of. Oops. See how long this will stay open for.
Thank you, and please visit again.
No, get in. Doesn't look like it would fit anyway. I'll have to try this later. Well, actually... Come on. No. Alright. Maybe if I'm a little closer. The door seemed to stay open while I was standing right next to it. Alright, so it stays open while I'm here. The animation is just too long. It doesn't look like there's any way I can... Oh yeah, maybe if I get it up on the door, then it'll fall in. Nope. Alright, I can try going around and then I'll give up. Uh-oh.
All of our landing areas are currently full.
Oh no. Now I can't even get out. Alright.
Warning, you are blocking an active flight bay. Please vacate the vicinity.
If I leave this here, I'm gonna get a fine. If you think this is gonna cause a 30k, you should have seen the 890 stream from the other day. We had 13 Merlins in the hangar. Alright, I guess they're just gonna impound it. They wouldn't let me out though. Definitely not my fault for trying to go through this door.
For your safety, please vacate the area. Thank you for your cooperation.
Alright, I'll have to come back later and try that out. Because it looks like it would fit through that door, so I think it would fit through this elevator. I don't know. Probably not. Yeah, it would have to fit through an elevator though if I were gonna get it to the Expo. Because, yeah. Alright, let's see where the fleet's at. Alright, this isn't one of the interactive signs. But yeah, that's another nice thing. Last year they only had... Like, they did have the little fleet flybys with the Javelin and 2 Idrises, but they'd only have this little marker on the map to tell you where it was. But it looks like it's at ArcCorp. But now these signs will tell you how long it's there, so you don't end up flying over somewhere for it to leave. Which can be pretty annoying. Uh-oh. No, I just missed the train. See, I don't see any of the signs here. I guess we can use this to look at the roadmap a little bit. Yeah, so 3.14 is really coming up soon. I know it did get a lot of stuff removed recently, but they didn't pull Horizon, which I was kind of surprised about. And so they have that in and the volumetric clouds, so that is quite a lot of stuff. I don't like the fact that they have these capacitor cards all separate because they're really one thing. But that's definitely going to be interesting. Because yeah, at the moment there's not much to do in terms of like micromanaging your ship systems. So that was one thing I did like from Star Wars Squadrons in the short amount of time that I played it for. Because it was a really interactive thing that you could do of balancing the power between your thrusters and shields and weapons. And I mean, this is like, you could kind of say it's ripping it off, but I don't think Squadrons is the only game that's done it either, so I don't know. It's a lot better because you can currently like redirect your shield faces, but it goes through like the shield recharging mechanic, so you have to wait for your shield recharge time. So if you have like a shield like the Sucheron on like the Prowler and stuff, that has a really slow recharge time. It's not even worth doing it in the middle of combat. You just set it up beforehand if you're gonna do that. And then this radar and scanning, depending on how much they actually put in, could be a big thing. I hope they give us the option to like filter out certain stuff sooner rather than later though, because it is kind of annoying having minables come up when you don't really care about them. Alright, so... Looks like we're gonna miss this Bengal flyby, unfortunately. Because it's all the way over at ArcCorp at the moment. And it's already going on. But we could probably get there for that Javelin tour. I would hope so. Coming in? Oh, okay. So are you guys looking to pick up any ships? It's always interesting to see what they do have available, because it's a military event, but they have all of the constellations available, which is always weird. But then for Origin, they only have the specific military variants of their ships, so it's kind of odd to work around. Let's take the Retaliator. Why not? I haven't flown this thing since like Xenothreat. Oh yeah, that's another thing supposedly coming in 3.14, and I'm a little less happy about it because it almost seems like the events are cutting into developing the actual game, because the leaked Ninetales lockdown stuff is supposed to be starting then, but this seems to be like something they want to keep in the game just as an event that can happen. So like randomly the NPC pirates will decide to lock down portions of the verse. I guess it kind of does add to the eventual development of the game, even though it's not like core tech. And the game definitely does need more gameplay, so if this is... Because that was the big thing with Xenothreat, like the fact that it only lasted really like a week, especially with all the effort it seems like they put in, it seems like a bit of a waste. But yeah, if they keep these pirate lockdowns as a somewhat recurring thing, that's just kind of fun way to group up and take on some bigger enemies. That'd be fun. Finally getting a Carrack. Awesome. Yeah, it's a pretty sweet ship. It's like one of the best ships to fly around right now. Got that med bay. That med bay is going to be really important in 3.14 if they add in the hospitals and stuff. Those probably save you from spawning in those hospitals constantly. And it seems like they're trying to bring cargo back and rock mining and stuff like that. Just gives you a lot of gameplay options. I'm doing pretty well. How are you? S Brumo 4. There are those fireworks that are constantly going off. Oh, I guess I should have changed my background. I'm still with the 890 jump bridge. That is not correct. I don't think I have a shot of the Retaliator's interior though, unfortunately. That's another thing. I think the Retaliator's modularity is planned for sometime later this year. So that could be very interesting if the Retaliator becomes a decent cargo ship. But I mean, hey, it is pretty fast in atmosphere, so why not? Spent 23 mil? That's pretty good. You can get a lot of ships with that. No, I mean, I think the Taurus is going to be a really fun ship. I mean, it does lose the snub, which is part of the reason why the Connies are so fun and have a lot of stuff to do, but I mean, you still have all those pilot guns, so you can do a good mix of bounty hunting and cargo running. I'm interested to see how much cargo they fit in there, but I think it could be close to like 200 SCU. Because if they use the full height, because I really hope they get rid of some of the missile racks, because even though the missiles could be useful, that's like where a lot of the height in the Connie's cargo bay goes. Like you probably fit a whole nother layer of boxes above that. Yeah, and then there's all the features that were listed in the brochure that hopefully we'll be getting, like the... It supposedly also has some sort of shielded cargo compartment, I believe. So that probably won't be ready with this version of scanning, but in the future that should be ready. So similar to the Star Runner, how it has the hidden areas. But yeah, I mean, I've been waiting for a long time for that ship. But yeah, there's really nothing in the gap between like the Freelancer Max and the you know, Caterpillar-sized ships. So it's definitely a nice ship to have. Picked up a Talon, Saber, Sentinel, Arrow, Hawk, and a lot of equipment. The Eclipse, yeah, I love the Eclipse. I got one of those in game myself, and a Cuddy Black for rock mining. Yeah, it's nice being able to earn fighters in game. That's what I was saying about the Scorpius earlier. Like, $200 is actually less than I was expecting it to be, but I mean, it's a Hurricane competitor, so it makes sense. But yeah, the Hurricane is 1.2 million credits in game, so there's really no reason to buy it out of game unless you really want to play with it the first patch when it comes out, because they usually make it available for credits one patch after it comes out. B2, yeah. What size are the weapons on here? It's been forever since I've used a Retaliator. I have no clue what size weapon that is, actually. There's way more variety for the smaller sized weapons though, like these broadsword. Like there's multiple cannons at these different sizes. Okay, it's size 2. What's everyone's favorite ship window? I don't know. There's a lot of ships with nice windows. The Carracks in the mess hall and the like recreation area, those are pretty cool, but they're pretty small as well. I do like the 600 eyes like rear bar window, but it's a bit hard to see out of in the seating area, so it's not the best. I don't know. It's hard to beat the main atrium in the 890, but probably the Phoenix windows, honestly. They just fit in really well with the ship, and they provide a nice view while still letting you focus on the interior. So I think that's what I'd go with. A Constellation Phoenix. I've always found that odd how it's a limited ship though. And they decided to make the Polaris not limited just now, but the Phoenix still is. Like don't get me wrong, it's a cool ship, but doesn't seem super exclusive. I don't know why I've felt that way. $600 bedroom. Oh yeah, that is a good one. That front view is pretty nice. Although they should add a functionality to let you tint it. If they really want to make it realistic, because I don't think many people would want their bedroom being like front and center. Someone happens to walk by. Yeah, the Phoenix's starboard side window. Pretty sweet. Speaking of the Phoenix, there's another Phoenix around here. He's currently not having a fun time with the station turrets. And some of the people. Yeah, the Caterpillar's windows are pretty underrated, actually, thinking about that now. The tractor beam room is a pretty cool view, too, especially in quantum travel. You can just go sit over there. Let's see, I think I'm not gonna set my spawn point if I can remember where the pads on here are. Because we might end up going back to Microtech to... if that's where the fleet ends up going next. Because I do want to catch a Bengal flyby, see if the performance has improved a little bit. Oops, this is the security dock. Probably shouldn't get too close to that. Yeah, so this is the Javelin. This is the ship you can check out. And yeah, you can only check out a few of the areas. People have managed to clip their cameras into some of the other areas. If you want to check out some of that stuff, you can find the Star Citizen Leaks Discord, and I think they posted a ton of screenshots there. And they might have even made a video on it on their channel. But yeah, I think if I remember correctly from the Star Citizen Live they just did, they're not quite finished with all of the... maybe it was the Bengal they were talking about the interior for, but I think they're still working on the Javelin interior as well. I wish they had made the bridge available, because it is actually in there. I was informed by one of my comments. Yeah, I'm hoping we see the 400i pretty soon. It's been a long time waiting for that, but I think it's just nice to have more ships in that size category. The category of small enough to solo, but big enough to bring a few people along with occasionally. And then they can buff the 600i. Panathan? I'm not sure how to read that, but hello? Another sale. Yeah, it does seem like they're doing a lot of sales, but at least there's some fun stuff in game. And if you do want a ship, the Warbond CCUs that they do during these sales are a good way to get like 30% off if you chain a bunch of them. The Polaris one isn't too useful today because you can't really upgrade to anything from the Polaris, but if you do want a Polaris, it saves you like 50 bucks. Alright, but yeah, we'll hopefully catch the tail end of this Javelin tour. I want to see if anything's changed, and then we'll chase down that next Bengal flyby. Depending on how long that takes. I mean, it says it's still in progress. I don't see it anywhere, and I did not see it on radar, so... Lou, please come back. Alright, yeah, we still got 20 minutes on the tour. Polaris is available? Yes, it is. And it's no longer limited. That's what I was just saying. So you don't even have to wait for the waves and stuff. Oh yeah, yeah, only to buy. Yeah, my bad. I didn't mean to... Oops, I could have just gone straight to the docking port. Darn. Yeah, I didn't mean to, like, say that it's in-game or anything. It got bumped. It was actually supposed to be worked on, like, when the Merchantman is being worked on now, but... I don't know. They decided to work on that instead. The Merchantman has been being waited on for a significantly longer time, but I know a lot of people were excited for the Polaris as well. He says someone said they didn't get to see the Bengal. Maybe they're having issues with it. I should check Spectrum and see if they're... Because if it was causing a ton of lag, like if it was performing the same way it was in the PTU, then it would be dropping everyone's frames like crazy, like anyone in the vicinity. So I don't know, maybe they're gonna make it less frequent that it happens, just so that people aren't walking around the expo while their game's trying to load in a Bengal or something. I just want a Kraken. That's gonna be another cool ship. The Kraken, I believe, is going to be limited though, so you'll have to be spamming F5 for that one, unfortunately. I wish they'd just get rid of that for everything, but I don't know. They think that people's worries about missing out on it makes them buy it more. I don't know. Hello? You're supposed to be talking, sir. I bet you as soon as I walk away, he'll start talking to me. Nope. She's supposed to talk too, I think. Or someone over here. Hello.
Alright, let's settle down.
Here we are.
My name's Lieutenant Commander Alderman. I run the turret complement aboard the Warhammer. That means I'm in charge of coordinating fire between our various gunners during a combat engagement in order to maximize combat effectiveness. But when we aren't in combat, I strive to keep my team sharp by running through engagement drills and simulating...
Yeah, it does seem like it takes a second to start talking.
Standard with 15 turrets, 13 of which have embedded operators. There are 6 turrets like the one you see here that run along the side of the ship, each of which is equipped with a pair of...
I mean, Carson, if your friends already have a Kraken, they probably got space for crew. That's gonna be a lot of people to run one of those. I know one of my friends was wanting me to get a Kraken, but it just seems like a very large ship to be pulling out too frequently. Server problems causing delay, yeah, that makes sense.
During the Xeno threat incursion, our gunners were responsible for the destruction of over 70 hostile elements and several capital ships, as well as protecting the ship from incoming ordnance. As a special treat,
yeah, my FPS is pretty low on here.
All the weapons have been deactivated, so don't worry about accidental discharge. I'll remind you this is an active...
The weapons are deactivated. Yeah, I think they actually managed to deactivate the sound effect too, so you don't hear the Gatlings going off constantly anymore. Alright, let's see. I forget where the turret you can try out is. I thought it was supposed to be around here, but maybe someone's currently in it. If this is the way the turrets are when someone's in it, that's pretty cool though. It's pretty boarding proof. If you're getting boarded, it's gonna be hard to take out those turret gunners. Although, I can only imagine the problems you'll have getting stuck in them as well. Like, it's already hard enough to get out of the Hammerhead's turrets sometimes. Alright, here's the mess hall. Last time I checked this out in my PT video, I missed some of the stuff upstairs.
Hello, everyone.
This guy
My
started.
name's Lieutenant Horrigan, and as you can
is Warhammer's mess hall. Definitely one of the more popular spaces on the ship. The mess has a fully automated dispensary since we operate on rotating.
Yeah, it would be cool to have NPC tour guides in the expo hall, because they've already got all that text written up on the signs, but I doubt most people would stop to read those signs. But if they have like a tour guide just reading that out, that doesn't seem like it would be too difficult.
Spend 20 minutes in their mess. Now this is one of the main social areas of the ship.
Being an engineer, that whole loop is going to be one of the most in-demand crew members.
Also use the mess for social events.
Just want to throw a wrench at your crewmates. Yeah, I think it could be a lot of fun. I mean, that's going to add so much depth to the game when components are breaking and you'll have to be running around the interior of large ships fixing stuff up, and then you can really make a difference by like fixing ship systems that are down and stuff. So yeah, and it definitely will be in demand. I think you're right. Most people want to be the one in the pilot seat.
Currently has the score to beat. Anyway, I'd like to invite you to have a look around.
It's going to be hard to make repair gameplay meaningful though, because if they make it too much of like a little mini game, it would just become annoying, I feel like. So you're gonna have I think it's a tough thing to figure out how to actually make that work well. Alright, here's upstairs, which I did not check out last time, and I believe this is where the briefing room is. So the bridge supposedly is this way, which is we're not going to be allowed to get into. Oh, this is the briefing room. Yeah, so we can go that way. Let's see, they fixed the animations on these guys. Yeah, he no longer does the chicken dance. So they did fix that. Let me take a look at those commodity price alerts. Hopefully we get a UI like this for those alerts soon too. I saw something interesting on the roadmap is that they're going to be moving some of the vehicle terminal functionality into the mobiGlass, so that'll be nice. You probably won't have to ride as many elevators. Where is the price alerts? I don't see it. There's this nutrition thingy. Here it is. Yeah, so they've added all this new stuff. Look how expensive this audio-visual equipment is. That's gonna be... And construction materials. Yeah, overstock sell price. Understock. Oh, that's really small margins. It seems like it's still broken. That's not... The margin it's supposed to be is like 20%, but that's... That's 3 credits per thing. If they get the margins working correctly on that audio-visual equipment, though, that's a very valuable commodity. You could make money with small SU amounts of that, even. Alright, so it looks like these are just both entries into the briefing room. I guess... what is this? This is probably the bridge over here. Yeah, if you think, like, I get lost on the 890 sometimes, this is a whole nother story. This is a very cool room. I'm sad I missed it last time. But this reminds me of, like, Star Wars on the Mon Cal cruisers, where they're looking around that hollow table. You know, you spent too much when you include your game log into your will. Yeah. But hey, it's supporting development. You just gotta think about it that way.
The Warhammer saw action during the fall of Caliban in 2884, where it protected retreating civilian and naval forces.
Yeah, as much as it's easy to get frustrated with all the constant delays and everything, I still think it's better than the alternative of ending up with something like Cyberpunk. And I think everyone there fully intends to make a great game. So, it's just... whether or not they can do it, I don't think there's anything shady going on like they're
small group.
stringing us along, making a fake game or anything like that.
Since then, the Warhammer has been placed in dry dock for repairs, but is heading back to active.
There's too many employees for something like that to not get out.
Are concluded. The room you're currently seated in is the main briefing room for the entire ship. Based around a hollow volume built by Microtech, the crew gathers here to discuss everything.
Oh, this is cool. You get a kind of a layout.
Repair schedules. The Marine detail assigned to this ship also uses this room to plan out their boarding.
Yeah, I think it was off in the PTU. I don't remember seeing this.
This room has even acted as a venue for off-duty activities, such as vid screenings or sporting event parties. We hope that you'll take the opportunity to explore the ship and get an up-close look at one of the vanguards of order. On behalf of Captain Metcalf and the rest of the crew, I want to wish you a fantastic Invictus. I hope we see you next year.
I wonder when we'll be seeing a Javelin with its torpedo tubes online. That's gonna be crazy.
Hello, welcome to the UEES Warhammer. This Javelin class.
Yeah, Alexander. That's a new thing they added this patch. It doesn't look like the prices are quite where they want them to be, because those margins are super low still, even though it's supposed to alert you of places where you can buy and sell with really good margins. But yeah, I think it's a good step forwards. Hopefully it won't be in the journal eventually. We'll get some actual UI for it, but yeah, if it was a scam, they would already pulled the plug by now. They've gotten so much money. Yeah, here's the brig. Be careful to not get thrown in there. Supposedly the Polaris is going to have a brig. I don't know what you'd need that for on a... I mean, it's a relatively small ship, but I guess it could be useful. Could be a really overkill bounty hunting ship. Man, I really wish my helmet flashlight were working, actually. Let's see if I can switch. Yeah, one day the Carrick's cartography table. Yeah, hopefully that and the like 600 eyes big globe thing. Hopefully they'll make those useful in exploration gameplay, like jump point plotting, or I don't know, making a marker of like some field of minables that you found or something like that. Let's see. Ah, there we go. My flashlight works now. Not quite sure what this is. This is an airlock to something. And here's a turret. He looks to be having a fun time. Starboard blast door. Have you guys tried the new ship-to-station docking much? I've tried it just once with an 890, but it worked pretty flawlessly. And it's very nice. The auto dock picked up from like probably like 50 meters away, so I didn't even have to spend too much time trying to line it up. But I think that's pretty big, because that means there's really, besides the multiple cargo grids issue they were having with the whole series, there's not much blocking those from being put in the game, and they're already on the roadmap, I think, again now, so it's cool to see. Just need some commodities in enough quantities for even a whole C to actually use that. Alright, here's the turret. I think we have time to just pop in there. When I was trying to buy stuff at the Expo hall, this thing kept saying the shirts and stuff were out of stock. Yeah, I think for some reason they have limited stock. Okay, so they still have the audio for the guns spinning up, just not shooting now. So that's good. That's probably what it's supposed to be. Yeah, I think they have limited stock on everything. So I remember people were saying in the PTU when the Merlin was first becoming available for, becoming functional for docking and undocking and stuff like that, the new deal on Lorville was actually running out of constellations. Oh, nope, they didn't fix the audio. Okay, great. So yeah, I guess that's probably what's happening with the shirts too. They just didn't set it high enough and everyone's buying them as they're coming in. But yeah, you'll at least get that leather jacket, I'm pretty sure. My PC specs. So I have a 3700X and a 3080. But I've always said, like, it's more about your RAM and storage, I think, actually, once you have a certain level of components. Because I was running this with a 1080 Ti, and there was barely any difference upgrading to the 3080, at least at the moment. Once they get it more optimized, there will probably be a difference, but I think it's just you want a decent SSD, so like an NVMe one if you can get that, and a lot of RAM. So like I have 32 gigs, but sometimes it seems like 64 might even be better, which is unfortunate because that's a lot of money to spend on RAM, but is this one of the signs? I'm gonna go back over here and check when the Bengal is gonna show up, or when it's supposed to show up. If it still says it's going on now, though, I'm gonna check Spectrum real quick and see if they haven't disabled it. Yeah, I mean, it still says in progress. Also, I think they said they added more warnings about... Yeah, the tour is over. Because it would be pretty easy to miss that. And you end up with a crime stat, I believe, unless they change that for staying on the ship too long. So that could be a real nice welcome to someone trying out the game. You end up in Klesher for going on a tour. I haven't actually gotten a view of this thing undocking from inside the station. I was looking at it from the outside last time, so I think I'm gonna stay here for a second. Should only be a minute. But let's see. Look at the roadmap for a second. So yeah, the whole A is coming up early next year, and I believe that has, what, 100 SU? Oh, 50. But it looks like it can land on planets. And it's like starter ship price, so that's pretty sweet. Yeah, I mean, with this side-by-side configuration, it looks like there's no reason it couldn't land. Yeah, 48 SU is a lot for a starter ship. You could even make a few credits running scrap with that. Okay, I guess all the medical stuff got pulled for 3.14. That's a bit annoying. But I think that's somewhat of a blessing, though, because if it was working really poorly, I feel like we'd just be constantly being teleported back down planet side to those hospitals, and that could get really annoying. Because I think when it does come in, it's going to be kind of another annoying thing like prisons were when they first launched, where you end up spending a lot of time there for maybe not justified reasons, and it's kind of disruptive. So I'd rather them spend a bit more time on getting that working well than getting it in the game quickly. And yeah, wow, the both of the areas are for 3.15 or still there at the moment. And they're pretty small, so I can imagine them, like, they don't have any interior or anything, so it seems like they could get that done. I might have to pick up some CCUs to those to try them out. If we get more events where we have to take out Idrises, those could be really useful. Alright, let's see. This should be undocking soon. Hello? I think that's another player. Let's see if they closed the door yet. Not quite yet. I don't want to be alt-tabbed and miss it, though. Oops, sorry, my chat wasn't updating. Okay. Yeah, SSD, processor, and RAM are the things that matter. Yeah, the GPU utilization is pretty low when you have a higher end GPU, so the lower end GPUs can handle it mostly just fine. As long as you have enough VRAM, that's the other thing. Hole A and B can land on planet. Okay, so the B can land on planet as well. That's a pretty big one too. Well, not super big, but compared to the other holes, but still a decently sized ship. Alright, it seems like it's gonna leave now. Let's see if that door is closed. Yeah, it looks closed. Alright, well, it wasn't the smoothest undocking. Wow, they're in a hurry. It must be late. That's closed too. I was hoping I could go walk in there and get a better view. Darn. And then it backs out of the security dock. Alright, I'm going back to the lobby because I want to figure out where they're going next. Hopefully the signs update and tell me. Oh yeah, I did set up my stream alerts, so if any of you guys subscribe during the stream, I think it should show up. I made a little, like, notification thing with the ship. Wonder if we'll be able to see anything from the lobby window. I hope one day they decide to just speed up the how fast the elevators move. There doesn't seem like much reason to not. Oh, there's someone in a Star Runner. Yeah, but it looks like we're not gonna be able to see the Javelin flying around. Yeah, it's moved that direction. Would be nice to have more windows and stations too. Yeah, it still says in progress for the Bengal. At least there doesn't seem to be server problems like last year. Yeah, the free fly starts tomorrow, so that could be a whole load of fun. So yeah, I wouldn't make any plans on like having a marathon session tomorrow because it could be disrupted. Yeah, so I mean the ship stuff seems to be running fine, although I haven't seen a Bengal yet to prove that. But I think the issues last year were caused by all the new players and their back-end services not being able to handle that. But they've also made a lot of upgrades to those, and they should know how many players to expect this year. So I don't think it's going to be too terrible, but it could be bad. This is just not going to update. Come on. Alright, I'm going to check on Spectrum. Let's see. So here's the FAQ. Just going to go through anything here. So yeah, the free fly starts on the 22nd. Desync starts tomorrow. Hey, I mean, it's already here, so can't get too much worse. Almost upgraded my cat to a C2 and then realized I don't need it. I have my Carrick. Yeah, I mean, the cat's a great ship, and once it gets its modularity, it's going to be much more of an all-rounder. Like, the C2 is really laser focused on carrying things around, and mostly in and out of atmosphere. Like, right now it has that crazy quantum range, but I feel like eventually it's going to be more of a localized hauler, where the cat will be like something that you can use as your main ship to fly around and do a lot of long-range cargo hauling. Or like use as a pirate base or something like that. Because that's initially what it was meant as. Oh, they changed the rental for the ship to be 48 hours, which is nice. Because it used to be 24, which was annoying because you could only rent things once, but there were 2 days for each manufacturer, so you could accidentally rent everything the first day and then not have anything fun to try out the next day. Yeah, and then the other main thing that was here is the Polaris changing. Yeah, the BMM loaner ship changed from the Cat to the C2. I think that makes sense just because it has more cargo. Okay, it's going to Everest. Alright, so I should grab a ship because my spawn is at Microtech at the moment.
I know, right?
Hope your new PC gets here in time for the free fly. Well, you have until June 3rd, so you got a little while, hopefully. Ooh, something just got blown up.
They're like Soul Boy.
Alright, I'll pull out a 600i. Well, maybe.
You don't have a plan about what to do?
Anger 4.
Whether or not you're downloading Star Citizen?
I'm worse, just lost 20 megabit internet, now 3 megabit copper for a year. Starlink, please save me. Yeah, Starlink looks really promising. As long as the amount of satellites don't become an issue for launching stuff into space, just because it's like so many satellites in low Earth orbit, that's going to be really cool, because the latency is not even that bad, since they're so low. You might be able to play this on... It's mainly the updates that are going to be an issue for you, because it looks like I'm only... Oops, I didn't actually check for it to spawn. That's a rookie mistake. But yeah, it looks like I'm only pulling under a megabit right now. But yeah, that it's definitely a tough time. Let me change back to the main. There we go. If you do want Starlink, though, it might be a good time to get it now, because I think they're doing something weird right now, where they're subsidizing part of the cost of the, whatever the dish is, because I think those are pretty expensive. I don't know if they're going to continue doing that, but... Alright, it did retrieve it the first time, it just stored it immediately afterwards. Nice. Alright, so now the Bengal says coming soon. It doesn't say in progress anymore. I mean, on the P2 it actually gave you a countdown to like when it was gonna start. So it could still be broken, even though it claims to have updated. But I'm gonna fly over to Everest and find out. It's gonna take a second. Hopefully this is my 600i with the crossfield. They really need a better way to distinguish between the ships, because I think sometimes even the one like marked with a 1 and 2 in the vehicle manager and your Mobi-Glass isn't the same as the one on the terminal, which can be really confusing. Oh, Starlink's $599 a month. Yeah, I know there's like beta testing it almost. It's kind of weird to pay for, I guess that's what this game is, paying for testing it, but it's a bit different with the service. Yeah, hopefully they can get the price of that down once they have more customers. But I mean, at least in terms of the performance, and I think even the price as well, it's a lot better than other satellite options, which have always been like pretty bad in the past. They're like just passable. That door is still. Saw something about the 600i going gold standard later this year. I hope that means a rework, because it does need a rework if the 400i is going to be as capable as it looks like it's going to be. But yeah, like just simple stuff like that globe not staying not rendered when it's supposed to.
You are clear to launch.
Alright, I'll head on over to Everest. It makes sense anyway, because I'm going to be testing out the Hurricane later. It's a good spot to do that, with all the bounties and stuff. You know, they did walk back that change they had made to the bounties, where they're going to make it so that you didn't have a marker to quantum travel to anymore. So you'd just be like flying 300 kilometers, but instead they made it so you have to fly like 30 kilometers to the target. They didn't ever really announce that because they got all the pushback from the first change. So that's a little funny. But I mean, 30 kilometers is a lot better than 300, so I'll take it.
Thank you. And please visit again.
And with how long they take to load in at the moment, that's about how long you'd be waiting anyway. They have several testing in all but a few states. Yeah, I mean, I know their network's not at full capacity either yet, because they still need to send up a ton of satellites, so... Interesting. Thankfully this jump isn't too long, we should be there pretty soon. I want to go check out that 600i rear window, since we were talking about that earlier. I know they were talking about the scanner operator mode, a couple of whichever episode it was, the official one where they talk about that. I wonder if they'll make these chairs the ones for that. It's kind of odd not having them on the bridge, because at the moment scanning works where you're just scanning whatever's pointed at you, so you'd be sitting back here and not actually looking at what you're scanning at. But the other seats are remote turret seats, so I don't know what they're gonna do with that. There's definitely enough space on the bridge though for some more seats, so I don't know. Hopefully they rework this ship and move those seats up onto the bridge and use that space for something else, maybe like cargo or a med bay. Med bay is always a sore subject, because it would be nice to have on every ship, but it definitely doesn't make sense. But with how big this thing is, I think they could put like a low tier bed in here at least. Yeah, and it's just such a weird layout at the moment. Like, this is the armory. All the way back here. Like, the exit's way over there. And this is where all your suits and stuff are. Or, yeah, I guess these are supposed to be the suit lockers, eventually. So yeah, I mean, it definitely needs, like, they're gonna have to add the actual storage to these spaces, so might as well take the time to make the layout a bit more, I don't know, just functional. Yeah, and this globe is weird, like, what are you supposed to do, lean on this railing? Alright, we're almost there, I think. Hopefully we'll be in time for the Bengal tour. I mean, Bengal flyby. Wish it were a Bengal tour. There are leaked Bengal interior tours though, if you want to check those out. And they make me very excited for the Polaris interior. I really like RSI's interior design a lot more than Aegis's, at least. I don't know, I'm just not a fan of the... Like, I know it's supposed to be old because they are old ships, but I like the more modern feel of the RSI stuff. I really hope they give us an anvil capital. Like, I know I was talking about it in probably, I don't know, one of my earlier videos this year, but like an anvil Polaris competitor would be really cool to see, I think. I've always been hesitant on the Polaris's reliance on torpedoes, just because it's an expensive and limited type of ammo. Alright, I guess I'll go land. Cause it looks like the Javelin's just getting here, but I know the Bengal always showed up a few minutes later. Because the tour would be going on for a few minutes before it started. Before the flyby started. Oh, it looks like we'll be able to catch it docking. Maybe? I can't tell. What is that? Yeah, that's the Javelin. Starlink did spot testing for a year, and they got 50 megabytes then, and now I'm at 200 to 300. Yeah, that's pretty solid. And with only 30 milliseconds ping, that's not terrible. You'd even game on that. Oh. Did it just leave? And it was just supposed to be starting. I don't know what's going on here. I don't think it was supposed to leave. Yeah, I mean, it still says it's here. The fleet. Alright, well, let's land. I'm gonna be flying around the flyby. I probably don't want to do it in this thing anyway. A little slow.
Please proceed to assigned landing bay.
Yeah, that's another thing. They promised that the 600i was made of lightweight materials and is real fast. And it definitely is not. Especially its strafing performance. Like, I have to turn it this way to get it to stop. Yeah, and with how fast the Star Runner and now even the C2 are, there's definitely some room for it to be faster if they want it in line with that. I mean, even the Carrack is pretty fast, if I remember correctly. I'll have to fly that around on Anvil's Day. But it's a bigger ship, and it's quite fast. What? Okay.
Warning, you are blocking an active
I mean...
Please vacate the vicinity.
This is where it told me to land, I think. If I did land in the wrong hangar, someone tell me in the chat, but I'm pretty sure I had the marker for here. Better not give me a crime stack, because that's like my second vehicle in like the last couple of minutes. And that was not, I had not seen that issue in a long time, so whatever hotfix they did, I think it was a little bit too hot. I don't even need to raise that if they're gonna just... Okay, I'm on the pad. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Vehicle impounded, parking violation. Nice, nice. These elevators. When colonialism and base building are in, what kind of planet do you think you'll end up on? I'm not sure. I've kind of got my own ideas for what I want my fleet to be set up around having sort of a moving base. But yeah, I think it'll probably be useful at some point to have a planetary base or hideaway or something at some point. Yeah, I'm not sure where I want that. Like, it would be something like Hurston, which is, I don't know, at least somewhat similar to Earth, or some moon like, I don't know. I really like the look of Magda. So it'll probably be some moon out of the way so that people don't bug my stuff. Keep it somewhere somewhat hidden, or out of the way at least. Because I don't imagine I'll be hanging around there too often. It'll just be kind of like a storage place, but we'll have to see. The homesteads that they have... Oh, this is gonna... we have to wait 36 minutes. Let's go. That's a while. Well, so do any of you guys want to try out the Hurricane real quick while I wait for the Bengal flyby? I can hop onto Discord and we can get some bounties in. It does have some pilot firepower though, so I could just try it out solo for a second too. I'm just gonna hop into one of the voice channels though if one of you wants to join in. Or you don't even have to hop into a voice channel if you don't want to, but... Alright. That's 35 minutes, so right around 4:55 we'll be able to see the Bengal. It's weird, the Javelin just left, decided to leave. Am I part of an org? No, I'm currently not part of an org. That sort of stuff looks fun, but it's somewhat limited right now with the 50-player servers. Could definitely be fun though. But yeah, an inhospitable planet would probably be a smart place to put it, kind of like what was Darth Vader's Bast Castle. Put it right in the middle of a volcano, and then no one's gonna come and take your stuff. Alright, I guess I'll just ask in global chat and see if anyone wants to fly around in a hurricane. Let me make sure my loadout's correct. Yeah, I didn't realize the Hurricane had so much pilot firepower as well. Because I was looking at the Scorpius thinking it had a lot of pilot firepower because it's got like the same as a Saber. But this has as much as a Talon with 2 size 4 mounts. So not quite as much, but pretty cool. Alright, I'm just going to pull it out and then I'll come back here if anyone bites on that. This is the issue with ships like this and the Scorpius, though. It's not always that fun to be in a turret. And the brochure does confirm that by default the turret on the Scorpius, even though it's a remote turret, is not slave to the pilot. You'll have to put a blade in to get that working. But I mean, with a blade, though, that's a lot of firepower. I'm interested to see if those, like a bladed turret, will be as functional as just having like gimbaled weapons, or if they'll make it slightly worse in some way to like make it so that having a player in there is better beyond just having the ability to shoot at stuff behind you. C788s, yeah, they're pretty good right now. And they just look cool too, the massive explosions they cause. I kind of get confused by them sometimes though, thinking the ship's blown up that I'm shooting at when it's not. I mean, this is a lot of firepower too though. Like, if you think about it, it's like a freelancer on the top there, plus the Talon's worth of firepower on the front. And these things are surprisingly, I mean, they're not like super tanky, but I've been doing PvE missions and they always take more hits than I'm expecting them to. That seems a little glitched. Oh well, you're probably in high demand if you enjoy being a gunner.
All systems online.
Alright, let's see. EC and alert, perfect. Miles away from your computer. It happens.
Takeoff complete.
The placement of these nose guns is pretty cool though. Seeing them right there. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Thank you. And please
Quantum turret is now off. Landing gear raised.
Spooling. There we go. Let's see, these are tarantulas that I have on here. I never have taken a good look at them because they're always kind of hidden by the freelancers mounts. Pretty nice looking cannons. Oops. Oh yeah, this thing has interesting maneuvering noises. You hear that? You'll hear it in a second when I'm flying around. It's got AC too. It's hard to tell, but it seems pretty maneuverable. Not quite like a Hornet or any of the other regular medium fighters, but still faster than like a Vanguard, as it should be. But yeah, that what is it? Yaw? I don't know. That's kind of slow because that was full stick or whatever. Yeah, Merlins are fun to fly, especially compared to a Caterpillar in a combat scenario. Oops. Oh, that's some desync there. Oh. Yeah, it does look nice having a Merlin in each bay. Oh my. Yeah, I mean, this is pretty decent solo even. These are Buccaneers, kind of flimsy, but... The only thing I can see being a downside is that with fixed weapons as the pilot, you're going to be moving around a lot, which could mess up your turret gunner's aim if I'm constantly adjusting like this. So you might want to run gimbal just to avoid that, so you can provide a more stable platform for him. Look at this chunky ship. Refueling is going to be fun. I hope they get that working soon. Anything with player interaction is fun, and there's really not much of it at the moment. Or like much reason to, because multi-crew is not in the best state. And yeah, I mean, you can mine with the mole. That's pretty good, always. But yeah, beyond that, there's not a ton to do. But I think it'll be fun if someone can just set up their Starfare somewhere useful and refuel a ton of people. Yeah, fighters launching out of like the landing bay of ships is always a cool thing. Cool thing to look at. Reminds me of like all the Clone Wars episodes where the V-19s are launching out of the Venators. Or TIE fighters coming out of the bottom of a Star Destroyer. And yeah, this thing and the Scorpius are going to be such great carrier ships, because this is a lot of firepower in a fighter-sized ship. So when you can just fly everywhere in your fighters right now, it doesn't make a ton of sense, but when you have to actually transport them with something else, it's going to be pretty useful, I think. Also, I've seen people just land a bunch of these on top of the bay of the 890, although I don't know if you can do that anymore. I think they removed the gravity, but yeah, they just used them as like extra turrets, so that's kind of cool. Yeah, I've heard about the fuel rats. I think I watched a video from some dude who worked with them for like a month or so. We definitely don't have the scale of Elite Dangerous to where that thing is like you're gonna be running out of fuel all that often. Especially since you can't refuel Quantum, I don't think is the plan. But eventually with Pyro, I think running out of hydrogen will be a problem too. And yeah, I think that sort of thing is just fun. Like, you set up a beacon and people can come and refuel. And someone might come and try to take your fuel and you have to defend it. Which the Starfarer is pretty well defended.
Target destroyed.
But yeah, like setting up beacons to do stuff with other players is always a fun thing. Like, I remember one time I went FPS mining and I had to have someone come pick me up because my ship just despawned. But it's fun. Calling a taxi, seeing them show up.
Shields hit. Target destroyed.
That'll wake you up. Just let it happen. It's easier this way.
Is that Connie? Yeah, I noticed that too. The Connie's elevator is much easier to use. It used to be just float on it in EVA and like hope it pushed you up, which wasn't an issue in the Andromeda because of the nice side doors, but definitely could be a pain with other stuff. Alright, let's try one of these out. I don't think I want to fight a Valkyrie in this. It's definitely possible, but I don't feel like getting blown up today. Yeah. It does seem like the group bounties actually spawn in 3 separate places now. Like, it used to be sometimes you get 2 in the same location. But yeah, I haven't seen one where they've been duplicated, like 2 in one location. Which I think overall is a good thing. Even though it is going to take more time, it means that you won't be like facing 6 hammerheads for like an extreme risk target, because you could have the 2 targets and then the supporting craft all be hammerheads. Which is always a scary sight. Mustang or Aurora, what's better? I think the Aurora is more of an all-around capable ship because it has a bit more cargo capacity, I think. But I would go with the Mustang right now, actually, because at least with the Mustang Alpha, there's no interior, so you can't do box missions, so you get a loaner of the Aurora. So if you get the Mustang right now, I think you have access to both, unless they've changed that. Because, yeah, they want everyone to be able to do those box delivery missions, and you just can't do that with the Mustang. I personally find the Mustang a lot more fun to fly. And yeah, I'm pretty sure you get both at the moment, so I'd just go with the Mustang. And with both of those, I think I made a video on this a little while ago, but they're both decently capable even for combat. You just have to put some more weapons on them, because I think they both are missing stuff. Like, they just have empty hard points, so you can like basically double their damage output. So you'll want to do that before you do any combat missions. But yeah, I think I'd go with the Mustang since you get both, or you should get both. I believe they did fix the issue. It used to be that the Aurora was actually, it cost the same amount of money, but its ship value was less. So if you went to upgrade it, you'd be losing $5 over the Mustang. But I'm pretty sure they've changed that, so yeah. Here, I can actually check real quickly. The 100i is a starter, but it's pretty expensive. If you're paying for a 100i, I think it's like $5 more for a Titan, and I think that just makes more sense. But the 100i is a cool looking ship, so if you just like the 100i, that's always a fine reason. I'm not seeing the Mustang Aurora loaner, but I'm pretty sure you get one. This game seems so much better than Elite Dangerous. Well, I've never tried Elite Dangerous, but it seems like they focus more on detail in this game, but Elite Dangerous is definitely has a much larger scale and is more complete in terms of being a game at the moment.
Bogey.
It's also cool in Elite that it's like actually or somewhat similar to like the Milky Way. So that's kind of cool. Like you're not flying around in an exact representation of our universe, but it's somewhat similar. Yeah, the 100i. The 100i I think is just like the Mustang and the Aurora are like base level starters, but then there's like the slightly upgraded starters with the Titan, the 100 series, and then the 300i's, or the 300 series a bit. The 100i is just in a weird spot though, because it's almost at the price of those upgraded starters, like all the Reliance too. I should pull out I rented the 125A. It's been a while since I've looked at it. Yeah, if you look at, it's a pain to find ship prices, but after I deal with this guy, I'll show you an easy way to look at them. Alright. I believe I said 4:55 was when the Bengal should be showing up, so I can do a couple more missions. But yeah, let me see. Switch to this. And then, yeah, so if you go to the pledge store, and you go to ship upgrades, and then you go to all ships, this will just have a list of like all of the ships. So not all of these are available to purchase, but it'll show you the prices of everything that has a price. So this is a good way to look at prices. Like these Rangers aren't available for purchase right now, but it lets you know how much they cost. Oh yeah, the Pisces is a good option. I almost forgot about that. But I mean, all you really need is the starter ships. Yeah, if you untick my ships, yeah, exactly, Carson. So the Titan is 55. Yeah, it's $5 more than the 100i, and it just gives you a lot more cargo and a lot of firepower. Like the Titan has more firepower than the Gladius. It's not as maneuverable, but the Titan and 300i are just such solid all-around ships. It's hard to justify staying at the 100i. And then the 100 series variants are just so expensive for what you get. Like, don't get me wrong, I love a lot of Origin ships, and they're fun to fly, but you can earn them in game. Especially once you get something like an Avenger. Yeah, the Pisces is fun too. Oh man, they made Odyssey a separate DLC. I mean, I guess if they're not selling ships, they have to have the game supported in some way, but that's kind of lame, yeah. If they don't make that clear. Yeah, but look at this Hurricane. That is not... Don't buy a Hurricane for real money. Yeah, but, Vation, I don't know how you say your name. You can also look at renting ships too, so... Even if you only have your starter ship, with just a few missions, you can get enough credits to rent something like an Arrow, or even up to like a Constellation, and that thing can shred through some of the bounty missions, like what I'm doing right now, and you can make a lot of money doing that, and earn some other stuff in game. So, yeah, well, if you look at the prices of the ships, it looks pretty expensive. You can really earn a ton of stuff in game. Yeah, the Nomad's another great option. I like being able to carry around vehicles in that, and it's got 3 size 3s. I don't know if those are gimbaled sizes. I think those are the gimbaled sizes, and you can't make them fixed, but enough firepower to do some easier missions. Yeah, don't buy anything with wheels for real money. Unless you plan on upgrading it. Like if you want something with lifetime insurance. Although it seems like they're making it really easy to get lifetime insurance now. Because all of the Warbond upgrades seem to come with it. So like, if you just include one of those in your chain, rent a rock and a Cuddy Black. Yeah, that's always a good way to make money. Hopefully they fixed... I know there's some issues where minables weren't spawning correctly on some planets. Like Ariel just didn't have any for some of the most recent patches. Yeah, and if you want to do something like that, you can hop on over to the Discord, and there should be some people there that you can either crew up with and do some of that, or at least answer some of your questions if you have more later. What's up, Admiral Groofus? How are you doing? The Freelancer miss is pretty tanky. That's when I'd check out on Misk's Day. I haven't bought one in game yet, but I should. It's a fun ship. Let's see what's annoying and sneezing at me.
Target destroyed. Target destroyed.
Oh, that's a little bright. Thank you for that game. Ariel is fixed as of this patch. Alright, that's great. One thing about Ariel, though, is that is where a lot of pirates like to hang out. Which, I mean, sometimes they are actually pirates and they'll just steal your stuff, but sometimes they just like to blow you up. So you might be better off going somewhere. Like, Ariel is great because you get the most Hadanite, but you might get interfered with. So if you're mining solo and you don't have someone to provide, like, Overwatch and a ship, then you might want to go somewhere else, even though it's the most profitable. Did I get an X-Wing? No. Yeah, I'm a little bummed. Like I was saying earlier, I was hoping it would be more of a Vanguard competitor, like a heavy fighter, but it's more of like a Hurricane competitor, which is why I'm currently in a Hurricane, because I want to test this thing out before I make a video on it. But yeah, I think... Yeah, it was very bright. But I think for the out-of-game price, it just doesn't make sense to pick up. I might, like, pick up a CCU so I can try it when it comes out, but it'll be available in-game after the patch when it comes out. So, like, in a year from now. And I imagine... Because the Hurricane is only 1.2 million credits in-game, so I can't imagine it'll be more than 2 million credits in-game for this Scorpius, since it's slightly better, or at least in terms of firepower it seems like it's slightly better, but it's not like way better. It's a bit cooler, so it's probably going to be a bit more expensive, but nothing crazy. I do like it though. It's nice to have a fighter from RSI. What do you think about it? Are you picking one up? These freelancers are bullet sponges. Oh, there goes its wing. Gotta love ballistics. That was a bit of desync. Just hop back in. What am I flying? I'm flying a Hurricane right now. Yeah. Oh, an Aurora element. Oh yeah, that is one thing. I wouldn't... If, whoever was talking about being new to the game, if you do end up upgrading, even though some of the Aurora variants are like barely any more than the base Aurora, I wouldn't go for them because I'm pretty sure in terms of hard points they're all the same. They just come with different components stock. So there's not really any reason to pay real money for components because you can earn components really easily. Alright, I want to do one of these ECN alerts to see if it's fixed, and then we gotta head over to Everest because the Bengal should be arriving if it's not broken. Oh, this is right here actually. I better not get a crime stat for blowing these things up. It does look like the issue with the Merlin is fixed, but I don't know. We'll see when this thing blows. What I don't get is someone had to look at this mission to fix that Merlin issue, because it was giving people a crime stat, but they still haven't fixed the payout. So the payouts on these missions used to be 1/3 of what they used to be. So like the one I did earlier with the cutlasses and... Okay, I didn't get a crime stat, that's good at least. The one with the cutlasses and buccaneers used to be 7,000. Well, they all used to be 10,000, but then they switched them out. Oh, I hit the Merlin directly there. I'm targeting the Merlin, that's why. Yeah, so then they switched it to being like 4,000, and then... Oh, I blew up the Merlin. Seems to be fine. Oh, the Merlin explosion destroyed the Connie. That's kind of cool. You can just target the Merlins and blow up the Connie if you can. If you manage to do that. But yeah, if I can finally finish one thing. They tripled all the payouts except for these. So it was like 4,000, 7,000, and 10,000. And now it's 12,000, 21,000. But this one with the hardest targets, being the constellations, is still only 10,000 credits. Which I don't think is the intention. I don't know why they'd have it be less. Give me that Merlin. Come on. Why aren't these hitting? Am I just super desynced right now? Oh, my shields are down. Whoa. Gotta stop messing around. I keep losing my chat. I gotta fix this for next time. Here we go. I put decent shields on here though, so they should recharge. Just gotta be careful to not let them off this. I think it might be a freelancer that I'm supposed to be defending. I don't think that's supposed to come in without the radio effect. Yeah, that's what I was worried about too. I don't know how they're moving it to gold standard without a rework though, because there's no way in its current layout it can be... I don't know. In my opinion, I don't think it's ready for being considered gold standard. Because there's just... Like, if you look at how big the 600i is, like, the current interior wastes a lot of space, but it's not even using the entire interior cavity of the ship. Yeah. keep the luxury to the top deck, move the scanner to the bridge area. Yeah, I think that makes sense. I don't know how you're gonna scan from an area of the ship with no external view, unless they really change things around. Like give you a remote view? I don't know. 3 minutes till Bengal flyby. Alright, we're just in time. Oh, I don't think I got credit for that mission because I didn't stay around long enough. Whatever. Yeah, I think this Bengal flyby might be the cause for the increase in lag just now. Oh no, we're on the dark side of the planet. This isn't gonna be all that great of a viewing experience. But I mainly just want to see how it performs. If you want a good view of it, you can either... There's plenty of people who have shown it on YouTube, or you can check it out yourself later. I mean, I'll try to show it well here, but not much you can do with ship headlights. Am I damaged? That's why I'm having these torque imbalances? I don't think so. Those C788s do look pretty cool up there. Yeah, all the scanner stations seem to be in closets. I guess you're right. The Star Runners is odd. That's such a big room for a scanning station. And then the Terrapin is just in that rear area. So I guess, yeah, it's just something that they haven't shown us for how those are going to work. Because with the current... With that scanning operator mode, it just looks like it gives you this tab functionality, but in a different seat. So I guess the dedicated scanning dishes or scanning stations are going to be different from that. Which is cool, I guess. Can provide a way to have more in-depth gameplay related to that. Because I think scanning should be a pretty detailed part of the game. What is this? Oh, these are other players. Cool. Everyone's just waiting. Oh, he's on a dragonfly. Oh no, someone left that out here. Oh, that's his dragonfly. Yeah, a VR interface or something. Yeah, I mean, if it's gonna be, like, loaded with extra information, then maybe that's better. It seems like the Bengal's already here with these frames. Look at that. What do we have over here? A Nomad. We were just talking about the Nomad. And there goes that M50. Let's see. What is this? 7 targets the turrets. Oof, that's a little annoying. I mean, as soon as the Bengal pops in, we should be able to see it and pick it up. What is this over here? Starlifter. Another Starlifter. Why is that only picking up the dragonfly? Oh, there we go. It's a little dark for... Uh-oh. Someone did something. Must have claimed that. I don't know why else they'd be angry at the ship. Man, someone just blew up. That is correct. I'm gonna pull that off for now. Oh man, it is really laggy right now. Oh, so the Javelin just arrived. Okay, cool. Yeah, you really can't see it that well. That's unfortunate. Okay, I have my ship lights on, supposedly. They just don't do anything. Connie Phoenix. Looks like it's on a pad. Yeah, I think my frames right now are worse than they even were on the PTU when the Bengal was flying around. The Star Runner. Now. But where is it? Looks like the Phoenix has taken off. Oh no, it's just floating over here, never mind. That's too fast to be the Bengal. Is it over here? There it is. It's just not showing up on my HUD radar. Whatever you call it. Let's see what all's here. Idris M, the Bengal. Uh-oh. Getting the security stop right now. Nice, nice. It's another player. Hammerhead. 2 hammerheads. Where are we being scanned from? Can't see him. They always scan you at the worst times. Although I haven't been scanned before a jump in a little while, at least, thankfully. That's always the worst. When you hear it right as you're accelerating, there's literally nothing you can do. Is there something stuck in it? What is that? That does appear to be the Idris stuck inside of it. I wish we had a better view of this. You can barely tell what's going on. Oh, there's a Hornet. I thought it was another Hurricane, maybe. Oh, that's an F-7A. That's one part of the fleet. Oh, there we go. Someone's thrusters are lighting it up. Probably the Bengals. Yeah, you can see it's just stuck. Uh-oh. It's a little close. It's just stuck between that main engine. You got scanned and you weren't even in your ship? I don't know how that happened. Oh, look, it's gonna break free. Maybe? It's really pinched in there. So I think there's two Idris Sims. It's just one of them is currently part of the Bengal. They really got some poor captaining the UE Navy these days. Yeah, they're the two hammerheads. Maybe it's just one Idris. It is pretty funny. I guess it was worth waiting for. It appears to have stopped for a second. Maybe it'll let the Idris go. Uh-oh. Someone shot at it. Oh, there it goes. Yeah. Oh man. Oh, you're surviving for quite a while. Classic Star Citizen. Correct, correct. Wow, they're doing some good dodging. Oh, I think those are some good hits there. Is that it? Whoever that is still alive. Oh, the Nomad. It's the Nomad that did it. Poor Nomad. It's given the UAE Navy quite a hassle for a starter ship, kind of. Oh, they just managed to break out. Look at it. It's shooting. Nomad is still surviving. It's surviving. 2 hammerheads, an Idris M, and a Bengal. And various Hornets. I think he got away. It is a valiant sacrifice, though. It was nice to see the turrets all activating. They're still shooting at it. Uh-oh, that Hornet. Is it gonna have an impact? I think they might have made all the fleet ships indestructible, because I can't imagine how the like hammerheads and stuff would be surviving those collisions that I saw the last time. Yeah, probably. It's probably just a combination of being small, far away, and then the server performance right now. Like, look at this thing. It's stuttering. Oh, that's a Lightning. Yeah, F8 Lightning. That is a pretty cool ship. Let's see if I can get a better view. Yeah, look at that. It's just like covered in guns. Oh, the Bengal's coming this way. Yeah, you don't want to be in front of this thing because it hops around so much it'll just run into you. Is he gonna run into the station? Probably not. Alright, I want to check my frame rate real quick. A solid 16. Yeah, so they haven't really... It's about the same. I'd say a little bit worse than the P2 even, unfortunately. So I can see why they're running these pretty infrequently. Because I bet this is definitely having an impact server-wide, even if the frame drop is mostly just localized, the actual server performance is probably causing issues elsewhere. Is this thing about to leave? If so, then they really shortened this tour, or flyby. Jeez. It is teleporting backwards at the moment. Yeah, maybe they should have decreased player caps for a little bit, like they did with, maybe they tried that and it just didn't help all that much, but I know, for, what was it called, Xenothreat, having it down to 40 made it tolerable, like even with 2 Idrises fighting a Javelin. Hey, look at these cannons, I need to make sure I get a good view of these, I didn't get it last time. Yeah, so I think each one of these is like longer than an Idris and even more powerful than like a... Even more powerful than its like main railgun, and it's got 4 of them, so... Yeah, this thing isn't just a carrier. If you're big enough to hit with one of those, then you're in a lot of trouble if it manages to get lined up on you. I wonder if that's a little hangar exit down there. It's hard to tell. Probably not, because it's... That would be way below the flight deck, but that would be cool to have like a more protected exit. Are 30k still a big issue in this game? Unfortunately, yeah. I mean, if you're doing stuff where it doesn't really matter if you get stopped in the middle, so like combat bounty missions, then it's not that big of a deal. And actually, like, the 30ks are pretty rare. Like, I played, you know, for like 2 hours and didn't get a 30k, and that's pretty common. Like, when it's not on the PTU, they're pretty infrequent, but it's just with stuff like trading and mining, 130k at the wrong time can lose you a ton of credits. So that's really frustrating. So they're definitely not, they're not super frequent. I'd say, I don't know, once every 10 hours of gameplay probably has been the average recently, or maybe even less than that. Yeah, I've been on this server for a while, so it just happens that, like, whenever you don't need there to be a 30k, like you just bought 1,000,000 credits worth of cargo, there happens to be a 30k. So they're not gone, but they're infrequent, they're not gone, but the fact that they still happen occasionally is enough for them to be an issue still. But yeah, I'm surprised, like, this server's still up even with me being all the way down to like 15 FPS. And Idris was just now ramming into this thing. Ooh, that was a little close. Yeah, I don't think 30ks are ever fully going to go away, at least not for the foreseeable future, but once there's more persistence in the game, like to where you won't just lose all your cargo, or a ship won't just be disappeared into the void from having a 30k and you can just load back in, and then that'll be fine. And that could happen within like a year or so. I really don't know why this thing is flying backwards. I'm not sure that's intended. It did not fly backwards the last time. We're pretty far away from the station at this point, so it's probably gonna leave soon. They do need to work on their fleet formations, I think, because I don't know what kind of military formation this is, with the hammerheads just kind of floating around up there. The Idris. Oh, I'm being scanned again. Only one main turret? Yeah, it's that one main turret with the 4 batteries, but it's got plenty of point defense turrets, and I think some of those are still reasonably sized. Like, we'll be doing significant damage to anything that's like large size, like hammerhead sized, or even some corvettes like the Polaris. But yeah, and then if it can get those main guns on target, I can imagine it like one-shotting or two-shotting Idrises or something like that, or disabling them in a couple of shots, just because they're such massive guns. But then you gotta remember it's got this entire front area for other ships, and that can include, like, it's got space to fit retaliators, so those can deal with other capital ships, and plenty of space for fighters and smaller bombers like the Gladiator once they actually make that ship useful. But yeah, it's not like the Pegasus, which is the other carrier, which I don't think has much in the way of ship-to-ship weapons and is mainly just a dedicated carrier. And who knows how long it'll be until we see that. I think that's a mainly Squadron 42 thing, but it's slightly smaller. I think it's around the same length, but it's less chunky. Uh-oh. That was a big hop. I gotta keep my distance. Yeah, I mean, this does look pretty cool at night, even though it's not the best for seeing all the details and whatnot. Those landing strip lights are pretty cool. Yeah, that main turret. It's gonna be pretty dangerous. Uh-oh, someone trying to land their saber on this? Should buy a Bengal? Yeah. I'll get right on that. If you guys don't know, this thing, you will be able to like take one over as a large org in game. Like I think there's gonna be wrecks, or you can steal them from some people or something. I don't know if they've entirely fleshed out how they're gonna do that. But they do want some of these, like a very limited number, to be in the hands of players, but it's more like something that you fight over as a large group. Yeah, at the moment you need a supercomputer to run this thing with an interior, because I think it's got no interior at the moment. No, you can't buy a Bengal. The largest ship you can buy is the Javelin. If you want a carrier, you gotta get the Kraken, which is still pretty cool. Or the Idris. The Idris has a decent amount of space too. But I can only imagine the refueling and... Oh, he almost landed. Kind of. Let's see if he gets shot at for doing that. Yeah, you can only capture them. Yeah, they've never sold them, and I don't think they ever will. Even if they're running low on funding. Yeah, I think it's a good thing too, because it'll be a fun sort of thing to... Because this is such a big ship too, it's a kilometer long, so that's a lot of... Like, you have to disable it first, and then you have to board it and take out everyone on board eventually. And there will be plenty of medical facilities. I'm pretty sure this thing has an internal, like, railway too, which is a good thing, because I don't want to be walking a kilometer if I need to get something on the other end of the ship. So that's gonna be pretty insane. You know, you have a big ship when it has a train on board. Yeah, shoot it out of the sky. I believe I heard the stats for its shields are 12 million. So, just as some context, I think the Idris is around 1 million, the Javelin is around 4 million, and like any sort of normal ship, like the 600i has a large shield, and large shields are generally in the range of like a bit under 100,000 shielding. Yeah, it would be like capturing a city, and the firepower needed to get through those shields, like, it's gonna be crazy. Now these hammerheads are a bit in formation. They've got it figured out. I don't know where that Idris is. The Idris seems to have the worst captain. He was ramming into this thing earlier. And look at this rear door. I'm gonna bring... Oops, it's coming this way, so I gotta be careful. But I don't know how to give you a good perspective on this, but that is a massive door. It can nearly fit, like... It can almost fit like an 890 jump, just so... If you haven't seen people overlaying the stuff onto it, so that's pretty crazy. Like, you can easily fit like tons of retaliators through there and whatnot. And the whole thing, like, you open it up and you can fly through from end to end because the front opens as well, and it's just this massive, massive tunnel. Yeah, what is this Idris doing? It's just completely facing the wrong direction. Yeah, you'd have to do a lot of running around if you're the only engineer on there. Be using the train. Be like, uh-oh, the front shield emitter is needing some repairs. And then the rear port shield emitter needs repairs. You got like a 5-minute train ride between the two. Wonder what size these turrets are. Those look pretty small, maybe like size 4s or 5s. And that's not all that small, but, you know, compared. And then are those more turrets? Yeah, those are some... I think those might be missile launchers. And then some more turrets down here. Those look like manned turrets. Yeah, those are either remote turrets or missile launching tubes. I don't know. I'd love to count all these turrets, but it seems like quite a few. Because there's another 3, it looks like. Yeah, then the train needs to be repaired. You'd be doing a lot of walking then. It's hard to see if that's an entrance. Maybe that's just gonna be like a awesome window where you can see those cannons shooting like from right above them. Uh-oh. It looks like someone just got ran over. Oh, the sun's coming up for us. I think this will be jumping away pretty soon. Like it was about 15 or 20 minutes in the PTU. That's pretty cool. Oopsie. Oh, I'm about to die. The stupid... They still haven't fixed the glitch where your life support doesn't apply properly if you're in the pilot seat of a ship. So we've got a limited timer on this anyway. Yeah, if that is a window, that's probably going to be one of the coolest windows in the game. Oh, look at these. You can see whatever those are coming in and out. Those might be missile launcher tubes. It is desyncing quite heavily now. You might be right on the fighters not having light support, but I know it is a glitch right now, because I'll be like sitting in the 600i and my oxygen will start running out. I do wish it were a little less green. I'm not a big fan. I know it's like kind of military colored, but could be a little less green. IMO. I want to watch this thing until it leaves, but it's taking quite a while. Yeah, it would definitely be cool to see one of those fully manned by players. And then imagine if you ran into another one. That would be pretty awesome. If they can get the game to where it can handle that, that's going to be incredible. I do hope they don't go too overboard with crew requirements, though. Like, if they can... Like, this thing, I think, can be pretty crazy on how many crew you need, but with everything else, I think they should try to keep it within reason. Because it is fun to fly big ships, but it would be a bit annoying if it's a massive commitment to bring out anything bigger than like a 600i or Constellation. Try to land on it. We saw someone do that earlier. It didn't go too well for him. If I'm gonna run out of life support anyways, I will. But I mean, you've seen how this thing is jumping around. You see that? It'd be a bit hard to align it. Uh-oh. Yeah, they'll have NPCs. I hope they've always talked about how NPCs are going to be worse than players, and I think that makes sense because you want to have a reason to have players, but hopefully they don't make them too terrible. Like, I don't know, don't give them too much in the way of stormtrooper aim. Or they could make it so that you have like different NPCs with different skill levels and the more experienced ones cost more or something like that. Alright, this thing does not seem to be showing any signs of leaving. So I guess we'll try to land on it. Why not? My landing gear even gonna go down? I'm hitting in. It's not doing it. Flight systems? No. No. Like, yeah, it's just disabled for whatever reason. Maybe if I hop out for a second. You can change your helmet to get around the life support. That's good to know. Yeah, because you don't really have much choice in a fighter like this. Yeah, you're right. That's fact about the 90% of the verse is going to be NPCs. So I guess they'll probably just make them pretty expensive to pay. Alright, will my landing gear go down now? Oh, turn on weapons. That could be it. Oh, you're right. Good catch.
Landing.
I don't know if that's intended, but thank you for that. Bug right now. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense why I was having that issue with my Connie earlier, because I'd normally turn off the weapons when I'm taking off because of the missile racks that extend so far. Oh. Oh no. Uh-oh. Well. It's not necessarily a successful landing. I think I'm gonna leave it there. That was my life support. Oh, my life support's recharging now. Interesting. Okay, I guess you can just leave the ship and... So this one does seem to have some sort of oxygen. You think they should sell a couple destroyed ones? Maybe, but I think they just want it to be something that you constantly have to defend and fight over in game. I like that idea though, because yeah, the landing didn't go too well. I'm surprised they survived that. But yeah, if you wanted a inside sneak peek at what the interior of the Bengal looks like. Yeah, I think I've seen at least the video pop up for someone who built it in Space Engineers. I didn't get the chance to watch it, but it looks pretty cool. It looks like a pretty cool game, but it looks at least as complicated as this game, or probably even a bit more, so I don't know if I have time for that as well. No, yeah, I think this does have life support. It's just broken right now. Yeah, my oxygen's recharging now. So I guess if you guys are having that bug, just get out of your seat and get back in. That seemed to fix it for me. Or maybe I stole the life support from inside the Bengal when I clipped inside it for a second. Probably not, but you know. Jeez, this thing is sticking around for a while. Like, where is Everest even? Let's see. I guess this is probably what was happening earlier. Okay, it's not that far away. But this is probably what was happening earlier when no one could find it at over at ArcCorp. It was just like hiding off to the side. I want to see if they've added any sort of quantum jump animation. I mean, I know they probably haven't, but... Oh, look, there's a 125A. Oh, you just got a Polaris today. Congrats. I guess, even though it's no longer limited, it's still a cool ship to have. Yeah, I'm not sure if they'll actually have it in game next year, but I'm sure it's going to be a really awesome ship when they finally do get it in game, so I'm fine waiting a while as long as they do it right. Would be nice to have it next year, though. I'm surprised they put it on the roadmap before the Perseus, though. Like, even though the Perseus is, like, way more recent as a concept, I feel like they could really crank out the Perseus pretty quickly, since it really is just a big ship with guns. Big ship with big guns. And then that would tide over the Polaris people for a while if they made that a loner. That would be a lot of fun to mess around with. I've bought and melted the Perseus like 5 times now. I mean, in terms of doing stuff with it by yourself, I think it is one of the better big ships in terms of crew requirement, because you probably need your 2 turret gunners, your pilot, and then like a co-pilot engineer sort of person, depending on how they make the repair and maintenance gameplay and stuff happen. And it, but the other thing is, I don't think it's going to be super expensive in game. Like, the Hammerhead is 12 million credits, which is a bit of a long grind, but it's definitely doable. And I think the Perseus is going to be right around there. Probably even less than, like, the Reclaimer. So it's not the worst value for money in terms of, like, real game to in-game credits, but it's up there in terms of being bad. And it's pretty bad for a bigger ship. Yeah, I mean, supposedly they're working on the Merchantman soon, so that could bog them down for a while. Yeah, I think the best strategy is to not get your hopes up too much. Looks this Hammerhead is glitching around at the same time as this thing is. It's like it's attached. Okay. Well, the Idris seems to have fallen into formation finally. It still feels like they've got the order backwards, though. Like, everything's just flying backwards. I don't know if it's easy to do that, but... Yeah, it definitely can be hard to wrangle up turret gunners. I wish they'd give us NPC gunners so we know what to expect. Because I mean, if you've ever stolen like a Hammerhead on a mission or something with an NPC in the turret, it works fine, and they normally shoot out what you're targeting. So it seems like it could be pretty easy to add. Like just add an interface for paying them or something. And then we could really see, like, are we going to be able to run these ships without too many real people as crew, or do you really need the full requirement? Speaking of the reclaimer, does the elevator work on it? I personally haven't tested it, but I think they fixed that, because if I remember correctly, they fixed all the elevators at the beginning of 3.13, like to where vehicles wouldn't clip and stuff like that, so hopefully they included it in that, but I'm not sure. That's why I went with the Polaris. Yeah, I think the Polaris is just much more reasonable in terms of size and crew requirements too, though, but it still has everything you really need, like a decent-sized hangar, a med bay, a bit of cargo, and reasonable shielding and firepower. Whereas something like even an Idris is such a massive step up in size and crew requirement. You've been waiting on the Merchantman for 5 years. Yeah, that's tough. I'm lucky to have not been waiting that long, because I'm a bit newer to the game, but that ship has been around for a while. And it's crazy to think that before these most recent updates with it, it wasn't even on the horizon for like another couple of years. Yeah. Well, I think part of the reason it's hard to find crew right now is because there's not a ton of missions where it's useful. Or, right? So, like, eventually with the Carrack, you'll be able to go out exploring, and that's something someone can't do in their own ship if they don't have a Carrack. Like, they can't just go take out their Gladius and go exploring. But right now, really all you can do with multi-crew ships is go do combat missions, and like pretty much every combat mission you can do in a ship solo if you bring the right ship, so it's just tough to convince people to give up their control of flying the ship to sit in a turret at the moment. But I think that's going to change as more content comes in. Also, you gotta think right now, most of the people who play the game actively right now are the ones who are really invested into the game. And that usually means they have a lot of ships themselves, but eventually I think we'll be seeing a lot of new players who just have starter packs and would be more than happy to hang out on a bigger ship and run the turrets and stuff like that. Oh, hello. Aloha, I guess. Cool to see someone watching from Hawaii. It's a very nice place. I got the chance to visit there a couple years ago. Okay, this thing, this has been here for like an hour. I think I'm gonna give it like 5 minutes, and then I'm gonna hop off for a little while. Personally, you'd prefer to gun for someone, but most people just want to fly solo. Yeah, and I think another reason for that right now is, like I've mentioned a lot of times before, even the ship with the best turrets currently in the game, the Hammerhead, one of those turrets is equivalent to the firepower of a Constellation. So you could just bring your own Constellation and have the same level of firepower, but still be able to fly it. So that's another reason why it's hard to convince people to man a turret. But with stuff like the Perseus or other stuff like the Polaris, when you can man like a torpedo tube, that's going to be more firepower than you could ever have in a solo ship, so more of a reason. Yes, this is the Bengal. Yeah, it can be a little tough dealing with new players sometimes, but I don't know. I personally don't have much experience with orgs myself, but those probably are a good way to go about finding players who are more interested in getting some missions done and stuff like that. And we occasionally group up on my Discord if you want to join. That's what we did in the last stream. Although we didn't really do any missions in that one. We had our own mission. Yeah, we're at Hurston right now. The Bengal will be visiting the 3 major planets, so ArcCorp, Microtech, and Hurston. And you can see that there'll be signs that'll tell you where it's currently located and how long it's going to be there for, or at least it'll tell you how long the Javelin's going to be there for, but the Bengal is also wherever the Javelin currently is. You can also check the star map, and there's a indicator on there. You see this Invictus launch fleet. Yeah, mining is a bit tougher too, because you actually have to know what you're doing, otherwise you're going to be blowing up rocks. I've never actually tried a mole. It seems like fun. And it seems better. They've added more like mole-focused rock sizes. I haven't checked out the refineries lately though, so I'm not sure if they've fixed the issue where those were so overloaded you can really do much with those. Seen some videos when people accidentally ram a ship on the surface of a planet and the other ship will go flying. I'm not sure if that's specifically been fixed, but I know if you turn your engines off when you land by hitting I, a lot less weird stuff will happen with your ship. Because if you have your ship in coupled mode, it'll kind of start, you know, it tries to hover in place. So that means if it gets bumped at all, the ship's engines are going to try to keep it in that place. So I've had a couple of times where I accidentally left the engines on and I loaded up a vehicle, but the vehicle ended up clipping the ship into the air, and then it just stayed hovering a few feet off the ground. So yeah, if you're worried about anything like that happening, the first thing to do would be to turn off your engines, which is usually on I. The 890 jumps landing gear doesn't work right now. I haven't tried landing the 890. I've taken off from planet side and docked with a station, but I have not tried landing after pulling it out the first time. But that's good to know. I won't try to land it anywhere at the moment. Yeah, this hotfix, there seems to be some interesting stuff to have slipped in. Unfortunately. Ram the 890 into this. It wouldn't do anything. It'd just be like ramming it into the station. Because I'm pretty sure they've made the actual ship invincible. But even if it weren't, it would definitely take care of it. Yeah, it is. You're right, Cody. It is hard to know whether someone's looking to hijack or actually looking to crew up with you. My friends aren't always trustworthy either. It's not always just the random people. Yeah, that sounds like a good setup. Get some good mining runs in and earn some fighters in game. Seems like a lot of fun. You and another YouTuber, Loud Guns, should do a collab. I have not seen his channel, but I'll definitely look into that. I'm actually going to be doing a collab next week, I think, with a German YouTuber, Karolinger. I don't know if you guys have seen him. The 890's new look. I haven't seen. Do you know what changes they made? I didn't really notice anything when I was flying it, but I don't fly it around too much. You can easily steal the space trough ships. Yeah, unfortunately, he has some experience in that. Yeah, I did fly the 890 around. I didn't really notice anything though. I think it just looks nice in general. See. Oh, he's in the UK? Oh, that's cool. So that's not too big of a time difference either. Yeah. Yeah, exploring the game with people who haven't played in a while or haven't played before. There's a ton of detail even in just one system like this. Oh, okay, so they added more of that yellow trim. I did kind of think that that looked different, but I wasn't sure. Yeah, it is better to have a cooperative crew. Alright, well, I have to go, unfortunately. It looks like this Bengal doesn't have anywhere to go, but yeah, thank you all for chatting. It was nice talking to all you guys. I really appreciate you guys talking in chat. It gives me something to do while I'm looking at this thing. Why not decouple? Yeah, you're right. I probably should, but it is jumping around. But yeah, thank you guys for hanging out. I might be streaming a bit more during Fleet Week. I'm definitely going to be doing a collaborative stream next week, and I'll probably be uploading the videos that I usually do during these expos as well. So I'll have the one about RSI and Origin up probably sometime tomorrow, and I'll be testing out the Hurricane later. So I might be on Discord if any of you guys want to party up and try out that Hurricane turret. Anyway, yeah, thank you guys for hanging around, and I will see you in a bit.